Hey all, and welcome back to GSC. So I've been gone for 2 weeks for work, and I've made a last minute decision that I want to take Casper to UCC again. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and talk about a couple things I need done, and then we'll show you how to do thermostats. All right, so here's good old Casper. He's been sitting for about a month now because I've had to use it as a mobile storage unit to keep my other possessions safe. 337 Lincoln Flatheads from the neighbor. So those are going to go in my brother's garage for the time being because I'm building a chassis for Dad's Suburban still in mine. Obviously all the stuff out of the front seat's got to go too, so got more Lincoln parts than I know what to do with. But we're going to get him out. We're going to do some stuff. Starting with thermostats because they are older and have seen better days, so I'm going to go ahead and bust out my tool set. You've got to take off 4 15 millimeter bolts rather. One at the bottom and one around the corner here. You can see him at the edge. You got to take your hose clamps off, and I'll explain the whole dual thermostat housing thing. And I may or may not change the upper charge tube. So we're going to grab some tools, grab some parts, explain how this goes, and get the ball rolling. So I've been using the 15 millimeter and knocking all these loose one by one. I've got the upper hose loose. Just as an FYI, you will end up with water in the valley of the engine. So these kind of stick, but if you can get them unclamped enough, you'll be in pretty good shape. I have 2 on here because this hose is old and for whatever reason it doesn't want to seal with just one anymore, which is a pretty good indicator I need to suck it up and buy a new radiator hose. But the truck is one of those things that it's farm truck that does it all, and sometimes you got to do farm fixes. So as you can see, my upper hose is a bit stuck, so I'm going to take this clamp all the way off, give it a good whack with my hand, and see if we can't remove it. The hose came off finally. It needed a little persuasion. So this last bolt way down in here, I have an AC delete pulley because the AC didn't work. It is best to remove that hose so you can get in there and get those bolts out. It's the same thing with the far side here. Actually, what you can do is use a regular ratchet, get him down in there to remove him. So I'll get these 4 bolts spun out and I'll show you guys what the thermostats look like. Bolts are removed, so we can take this outer shell out here with the neck. He's out. Okay, so the thermostats tuck in our O-ring sealed, no gaskets. There's 1. There's 2. Here's our thermostats. So these are the old ones. As you can see, they have no backing to them, which is kind of unusual. Typically there's a rubber sleeve. So let's go over here to our boxes of the GM ones. So these are GM thermostats. As you can see, they are considerably different from what you see there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these both out of the box, and I will slip them into position and you guys can see how they look. Old versus new. These are AC Delco Genuines. These are whatever brand somebody put in here. They are both 195 thermostats. These are both, should be 180s from GM. So to put them in, all you do is line them up and give them a good pop with your finger. Second one here, same thing, pop. Now you can see the O-rings are seated, tucked in right along this edge here and here. Whoop. They are not a interference fit, so once they're in, they're in. All right, there's our thermostats. I'll go and wipe this down, make sure it's good and clean, and we'll get it back in the truck. Your thermostats are popped in. One thing I'm going to mention, put the bolts in crossways, and that way you don't pinch that O-ring and damage it. So I've got one in the front top and one in the lower rear. So I'll go ahead and put the other 2 in, get them snug. We'll put the upper radiator hose back on. This bleeder, what you can do is pop this open, start the truck, and it will actually help to purge the air out of this housing. And that way you're not fooling around with burping the cooling system via the degas bottle, and then you'll be good to go. So I'll get this together, show you the bleeder screw in action, and then you can change the thermostats in your dual thermostat 97 plus 6.5 at your own leisure. We're all back together here. So here's that bleeder. And here it's pushing a little air out. So once I start the engine and get it up to temp, thermostats will open. That'll purge, and then we will be set to go with our new thermostats. Fire it up quick, purge some air out of that cooling system, and then that'll take care of our thermostat install. It's been sitting for just over 2 weeks while I was starting, so wow, that surprised me. Pop your bleeder, check for leaks, and that takes care of it. Alright, so the thermostats are changed in Casper. The next video will be injection lines and then possibly shift cable. So we've got some 6.5 content coming up. Thanks everybody.